Hello, everybody. Sorry, I'm a bit tardy. I had actual work I had to deal with real quick. Not my fun job.
Are we keeping this meeting? Because I know we were like debating.
I
It seems
have
like we are.
I have a couple little things, but I do have to leave at the bottom of the hour. I have to record a Black Hat podcast.
Nice.
Yeah, got some security researchers we're chatting with from VUSec. So if I could have your indulgence for at least a half hour, maybe less, we probably can cut out early, depending on what the group demands.
We want it all.
All right, we are at 2 after the hour. We will get started. Do we have any new friends here to the group that wanted to introduce themselves and say hello to the team?
This might be my first time, even though I think I've worked with all of you in different places. I think I'm Brian Fox, co-founder, CTO, Sonatype, background in Apache Maven, Apache Software Foundation, and OSF governance board. So many working groups, so many SIGs. I'm still trying to, collect an audit of all of them in my head so I can really understand how we can help. So I try to pop in when I can.
Well, this should be one of your favorite ones, Brian, going forward.
You said that on the last one.
I did. It's all true. I love all my children equally. All right. Anybody else want to say, any other new timers want to say hello?
Do I count as a first time member?
Maybe. You could just introduce yourself, Sebastian.
Well, I'm Sebastian Crane. I'm hailing from the SPDX project primarily. And given that I have an empty calendar, I'm doing the tour of the OpenSSF today.
Great. Well, welcome. Awesome. So it looks like Francis is going to help us take notes. A few items I wanted to chat about. Bellendorf just dumped it into the general Slack channel, but it is now official. We will be having an OpenSSF day in Dublin on Tuesday. I think it's September 13th. And they will be soliciting a short call for papers. If anybody's interested in putting something together related to the working groups or the efforts of the OpenSSF, I think perhaps this might be a great place to reveal our CVD guide for finders. That would give us some additional pressure to push this over the finish line. I will be there as with my goose hat. I'll be kind of helping shepherd things along. So if anyone will be there is interested in either putting together a brief presentation about something, or if you want to do some kind of meetup, or maybe we want to get together and collaborate on elements of our work group work, all that is on the table if you're interested, and we'll be in Ireland. Any questions?
Sorry, when are you guys going to be in Ireland? Because that's actually quite close to where I am.
We will be in Ireland the week of September 12th.
I don't think I'm going to be fit and ready to be traveling by the time, unfortunately. I'm literally just recovering from an operation, so yeah, I'm
Well,
sorry.
hopefully you're able to recover, Fuzzy.
Much appreciated, Chris. Much appreciated, Big Game. But yeah, no, thanks for having me again for the second time.
Everybody is welcome. We love your feedback. You were a good contributor in previous meets. So
very much, man. No, I was just seeing whether or not I could make it out there, but I highly doubt that.
All right. Well, we'll be there, and maybe we can come to you. Who knows? I don't know how far you would be from
over in Glasgow.
Oh, you're in Glasgow. Awesome.
Glasgow, yeah.
Just a little ferry ride over.
Yep. Take the plane. It's a lot easier.
They have ferries from Glasgow to Dublin?
Well, they have ferries over to Scotland, and then we'd have to get a bus or.
Yeah, you go from Belfast to Scotland, but Dublin to Wales.
All right. Well, I mean, I'm slightly jealous because I live on the coast, but there's no ferry service to anywhere.
Aw. I just had the good fortune. I was in Dublin in July for the first global conference. So I got to experience a lot of Ireland. That was pretty fun. We took a couple day tours north, west, and south. So it's kind of cool.
Oh wow, Ireland is just a lovely place. It's such a special wee country.
It was beautiful, and I'm actually sad. I was supposed to go to Edinburgh a couple of years ago, but I had medical issues, so I wasn't able to go. And we were going to do Scotland and all of Ireland then. Scotland's still on my list.
Oh, for sure, it should be on everyone's list. I mean, we have castles. You know, you can actually stay in castles. See, when you go up north, right, it's like you won't be booking out hotels. Just search for castles to stay in. Right, a wee card, just plan your trip out. It's amazing. I do it like before I got injured and laid up. That was pretty much my spring break. Was we'll just go up north and we just do the 500 and we just drive the 500 miles up north.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
awesome. I highly recommend it. If anybody's ever over, just by all means do hit me up. More than happy to show you around.
Awesome.
Ozzy and
I'll
I
write that
get
down.
bored. We look at real estate in Scotland, specifically of the castle variety.
Randall's already got his eye on this castle outside of Edinburgh, and I know the one he's talking about because, yeah, it was notorious for throwing the best parties. Like, but yeah, I know the castle that Randall's got his eye on. Well, Randall's missus has got her eye on.
Very nice. So yes, please, if you're interested in either participating or having some type of meetup around the EU OSS, please let us know. And then in a semi-related foundation business, the TAC has started having the working groups come in and report on activities. So I did the best practices working group yesterday for the TAC. If you're curious, the video will be on YouTube in a day or so to kind of see. But we will be on the schedule to talk to the TAC the first full week of September 6th. So I will be putting together a deck. There's a link here. Just doing a brief update of kind of what we're up to and what our next projects are. So if anybody has any ideas that you'd like to contribute to that, let me know. I have like the speeds and feeds of the group. I have that in a previous email, so don't worry about that. But if there's anything in particular work items that we are working on or updates you want to give or efforts we're involved in, please feel free to make some edits there, and that'll be done to the TAC early September. Any questions about that?
How do you spell tech?
TAC, TAC, Technical Advisory Committee. They are the group that is the liaison between the working groups and the governing board. All right. Does anyone have any opens we want to talk about? All right, let us briefly look at our CVD guide for finders. Check in the state of that. I'll post a link here in the Zoom chat. Gone through many different revisions. It's looking better. I still think we have a little bit further to go. Where I would solicit contributions from the group, if you scroll down to page 12, we start the appendices. So right now we have two areas we're going to be collecting information on. So if anybody has any contributions to the glossary of terms, we would prefer kind of standards-based definitions. So like for CVE, we would go out to the CVE page and kind of get their official definition of themselves. But if anybody is able to contribute to any of these glossary items that are there, or if you have additional things you think help provide security researchers context about coordinated vulnerability disclosure to open source groups, please feel free to add those. And then we started, the next item is our bibliography. So kind of a library of resources that we feel are important to CVD or we've used in compilation of this document. So if you have any good resources, please place them there. And then finally, and probably the most important piece is on page 14, is the templates and examples. It's nice to have a guide that instructs people how to do things. It's better to give them a guide and tools to be able to execute. So we have an example of what a disclosure template might look like, what an embargo template might look like. So if we have any examples of existing art or anything we want to create, let's get those linked there. And ultimately, this Google document is going to get moved into a Git repository once we are done with the major edits. So any questions or comments on the 3 items in the appendices?
Do we have a deadline?
We do now. I would like to get, let's see if we can push this through to the finish line before that September 6th TAC update. We were going to try today for Black Hat, but we got distracted. So let's see, let's put a new date of September 6th as where we would like to have the final draft ready. And that way, if we were so inclined, we could potentially present that the following week at the Dublin conference. Yes, Madison.
I know we had talked about the Linux Foundation editors and getting this basically copy edited. Do we need that to be done sooner so that they have time to do that?
Yes, you are right. We are coming down to the finish line. So how about if we could have things by August 31st? Give us enough time to do the writing. And I think the copy editors said they only needed a few days, but that gives me time to go back and bother them and get on their schedule. So August 31st feel like a good deadline we can have? All right, so August 31st it is. Thank you, Madison, for keeping us focused. So our homework for today is for those of you new to the group, please read the document. Fresh eyes are always helpful, and provide your comments in the document or to the mailing list or in our Slack, preferably in the document so we can kind of see it all together. And as let's see if we can get these last few items tightened up. Do we want to schedule maybe a couple final working sessions like we had done previously? Sebastian.
Thank you. I just made some edits to the who is an open source maintainer section, and
Cool.
Google Docs has decided to make practically every keystroke a different suggestion. Anyway, I just thought it sounded a bit too specific to the GitHub paradigm, and so I've added references to patches and things that other communities use.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. That is one thing we want to highlight through all of our work is that there are a lot of different ways open source executes, and GitHub is a great tool. Lots of people put their code there, but that's not our only tool. So thank you for that, Sebastian.
And in some communities like Debian, if you make a pull request, it will never get seen. They leave the button there, and no one will ever look at it.
Excellent. All right. So any comments or additional questions? Yeah, thank you, Madison.
When do you want to have 1 or 2 working sessions?
Well, let's see. Of the people here, we'll do an email out to the mailing list, but of the folks here today, who is interested to showing a raising of hands in participating in a special focused kind of tiger team type call to finish writing. I'll hit my little nonsense button here. All right, so there's at least 4 of us. So let us say, let's get a doodle together for early next week. Does that sound fine? Okay,
That works for me.
awesome. Is anyone able to do the doodle to save me from monkeying around today?
I'm tied up at DEF CON and Black Hat World, so.
Yeah, me too. Remotely, but yes.
It's better than being in the heat, my friend.
I didn't want to heat the heat, and I pre-got the sickness, so.
Yeah, I get it.
All right, so we will get a doodle poll out to the mailing list, and we will set that for early next week to try to get through the final revisions of the document. And as needed, we will schedule potentially a second call later in the week or the week after. All right, any other questions, comments, or suggestions before we potentially leave early today?
If you do not plan to attend the working sessions, but do wish to have your opinions heard, do so in the next few days, because the working session may be early next week, like we just said. So anything later than this, we may have to sadly ignore or push back.
And what the motto will be is once we're done with the document, we get it through the copy editing, it'll be posted up to our Git repo, just like the maintainer guide. And from there on, we'll follow the PR process for adjustments. So your feedback might get delayed for a while if you don't give it soon. Sebastian.
Thank you. Just a final question/comment, and that's that the term vulnerability disclosure seems to have adopted 2 meanings in various different groups.
Here.
One's the disclosure of vulnerabilities by a researcher to a project,
Mm-hmm.
but I've also heard it in the context of projects reporting to the users what vulnerabilities are present in a particular version. So that the comment there is that it exists, and the question is, what should we do about it?
From my body of work and experiences, we're focused more on the former, is getting the right people engaged to correct the problem. And then the actual communications piece is generally one of the last steps of a CVD process. Is the communication is very important, but we're focused on making sure we get the right people with the right skills to fix the problem, and then we will notify downstream as the tail end of that.
I think it's worth mentioning in the guide. Thank you, Sebastian. I'll put a comment.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, good feedback. Anything else before we close out today?
I think we mentioned this in our last meeting or yesterday's meeting, but I think the documentation, making sure that we have all the linking documentation in this, the supporting documentation as well.
Yeah, that was the appendix down towards page nonsense. Bibliography on page 13 is where we were assembling all the supporting material. So if we have additional ads, please put it there. And then we'll go, part of the last stages will be testing all the existing hyperlinks in the document to make sure those are all valid.
Fair. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Rendell, I missed that last comment. If you don't mind adding it to the meeting notes if it's relevant.
Sure.
Thank you.
yeah, we just want to make sure that we're capturing our sources or good references. And then as we have hyperlinks within the body of the document, we want to ensure that they're valid. Any additional comments or feedback? All right, so again, homework will be respond to the doodle if you are interested in on a focused working session on the document. Otherwise, your homework would be please review the document, add your comments so that we can get this closed out by the end of August and ideally potentially presented in Dublin on September 13th. Thank you all for your participation and collaboration, and enjoy the rest of your Black Hat Day.
Thanks.
Cheers.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you very much. Take care, guys.